This is the best local sports show in Jacksonville. Action Sports Jax Prime Time. Brought to you by Larry's Giant Subs.
Scotty Scheffler's back in. How back 9:29. Game of Sunday 62 and a gold medal in the Olympics. First time a number one has finished one in the summer game. Scheffler got a little help from John Rahm. He shot 39 on the backside. Tommy Fleetwood silver. Hideki Matsuyama won the bronze. We're back on Action Sports Jax Prime Time. Gentlemen, start your engines. We got our drive of the day.
The drive of the day. Driven by your local Ford dealers.
That time of the year, we want to send you to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona later this month. All you need to do is head to actionnewsjax.com, click the trivia button, and answer the easy question: who won the race a year ago? We did say we want you to go, so we made it an easy question. Now go online and enter to win. All right, you can catch that episode with host Josh Baker and a Hall of Famer Kevin Sullivan as well. Appreciate you hanging out with us on Action Sports Jax Prime Time. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks for watching the best local sports show in Jacksonville. Action Sports Jax Prime Time. Brought to you by Larry's Giant Subs. Now, this is an Action News Jax First Alert weather update.
Good evening. I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. We continue to see bands spiraling around Debby now, moving to the northwest, and has triggered yet another tornado warning this evening. And this is going to happen on and off tonight. This tornado warning is a small one and will not likely be in effect for very long. They're moving quickly to the northwest. Tornado warning just includes the southwest corner of Bradford County into southern Union County, stays to the south of Lake Butler. So this is a highly rural area, moving to the northwest at a good 40 miles per hour, so moving very quickly. We zoom in a little bit. The circulation's crossing Highway 18 and Highway 121 right now, and it is evident on our 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD when we take a look at the velocities. However, like what happened with a tornado warning that we had earlier for Baker County, it's not lasting very long. There's the circulation. This was pretty prominent along Highway 18 2 or 3 minutes ago, but it's already weakening. And tropically induced funnel clouds, waterspouts, and tornadoes are like this. They don't last very long. They move very quickly. You need to act very quickly. If you hear the loud roar, you know that the tornado is approaching. You will not have hail like you do with some of our afternoon storms before a tornado. There'll be no hail with a tropical induced, usually tornado anyway. There's the movement to the northwest. That's the actual circulation into Dukes about right now at 7:29, and then 7:32, just 3 minutes later, into Miller, again staying to the south and to the southwest of Lake Butler the way it would look. And we've put on here the debris tracker as well. Not really seeing indications of debris at this point, but it's also worth pointing out that the radar beam is a long ways away from the potentially tornadic portion of the storm. There's Lake Butler staying just to the south and to the southwest of Lake Butler. So you're okay, Lake Butler. You are not in the tornado warning. It's for areas just to the south and west of Lake Butler along Highway 121, now crossing Highway 18 and 121 over just the next few minutes. And that circulation, not quite as prominent as it was, but still a little bit evident there. There's Highway 121. It is kind of couched right between or very near that intersection of Highway 18 and Highway 121. And now we're back to a more traditional look at what you're used to on 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD, and that's the rain. This is very heavy rain, and it's on the tail end of the cell that we see the circulation. There you just saw an update come in. It's moving already about halfway through that red polygon where the tornado warning is in effect, moving to the northwest at 40 miles per hour. So this is not likely to be continued for much longer than it is right now. And let's see if we get an update here as we look at the warnings that are currently, the warning that is currently in effect. And I'm not seeing any additional information that says that they're going to change this warning and when it might expire, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's discontinued a little bit early with that movement very quick to the northwest at about 40 miles per hour right now. And of course, this is part of Debby, a much larger circulation that continues to move through the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. I'm going to change this just a little bit. Again, we're on the air right now for a tornado warning for far southwestern portions of Bradford County, far southern portions of Union County that will stay to the south of Lake Butler, but rural areas south and southwest of Lake Butler, a possible tornado. Meanwhile, here's the circulation of Debby, and we are continuing to see better indications of an eye forming and a stronger, potentially tropical storm that is likely to be a hurricane soon. Right now, it is roughly the center of the hurricane is roughly about 115 miles away from land. It's moving to the north at around 12 miles per hour or so. So this is roughly maybe 8 to 10 hours away from landfall, give or take, as long as there's not any significant wobbles there, which would mean early tomorrow morning. But the official forecast is a little bit later than that. And now, as that moves to the north and northeast, we'll continue to see these bands of storms that move north and northwest that potentially produce tornadoes like this one. And now we're on First Alert Storm Analyst, and that allows us to see the storms even better visually here as to what's going on. And Corey is running the computer now. That's the tornadic storm very near Worthington Springs, or potentially tornadic storm. And then this looks like okay, so that's rotational. These are rotational velocities now, and that's pretty significant, Corey. That's pretty significant. Very near Worthington Springs now. Looks like this stays just a little bit south of Dukes, moving quickly west-northwest at about 40 miles per hour. So looks like Dukes, you're okay in Bradford County, but Worthington Spring, this possible circulation, well, it's a circulation, possible tornado, is very near Worthington Springs and will continue to speed off to the northwest. Now Corey has put on here the velocities, and that matches up as well with our rotational velocities that we saw. That would put it very near Worthington Springs. So folks in Worthington Springs at least experiencing strong winds and a possible tornado in the vicinity now. And let's take a look at CCs, Corey. That's got me curious now, too. If we take a look at the potential debris field, not really seeing anything here, but again, we're pretty far from the radar site at the International Airport in Jacksonville, and that data may or may not be particularly helpful in this situation. But possible tornado near Worthington Springs, moving northwest 40 miles per hour, heads up southern portions of Bradford, southwest corner of Bradford County, though the majority of this now, virtually all of it, is into Union County. So southern and southwestern portions of Union County staying south and west of Lake Butler, but in the vicinity of Worthington Springs now. Now we're back to 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD. We've even managed to get a lightning strike developed with this cell. So it will be about another 5 minutes, at the most 10 minutes. It will be out of that tornado warning, and it will continue to move quickly to the west-northwest. We'll see if the warning is extended or if the National Weather Service allows it to expire. But right now, tornado warning for a small portion, southern portion of Union County, which is in our viewing area. It's about 50 to 60 miles southwest of Jacksonville, moving quickly to the northwest, heads up for Columbia County, near and south of Lake City. If this were to hold together and potentially produce a tornado, keep producing a tornado, that tornado warning could eventually be expanded to include Columbia County, and especially to the south of Lake City along I-75 and Highway 41. But right now, it's over southern portions of Bradford County where we have the concern as that moves rapidly to the northwest. And there are multiple bands here. Right now in Duval County, nothing of any consequence. There's some light rain moving up through the middle of Duval County. There are other bands to the south. They don't look overly intense right now, but any of these will be capable of producing strong winds and possibly a very quick waterspout or tornado. Our more concern for Jacksonville and Duval County will be what's around Daytona Beach right now. And there are have been reports of strong winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour with these thunderstorms. And that band is going to work its way northward and gradually curl to the northwest a little bit and into Duval County a little later this evening. So we'll keep a close eye on that band. Any of these heavy rain bands offshore may also try to move inland into northeastern Florida, while the eye of Debby, or the center, it's technically, it's attempting to develop an eye wall. It is well off to the south and west of Jacksonville, but moving north-northeast bound at about 12 miles per hour right now. The eye of Debby is from Gainesville, would be about 125 miles, so roughly probably somewhere around 170, 160 miles from Jacksonville. I'll get an exact number on that here in just a second. So we widen the view, put Jacksonville into the view, and the center of Debby is almost 200 miles, about 190 miles away from Jacksonville. Remember, it is moving northbound. It's turning more northeast with time. That is the forecast. Don't see that changing very much. And a hit on the Big Bend tomorrow morning, the landfall, and then it'll continue to the north and east. For Jacksonville, northeastern Florida, southeast Georgia, it's not so much a wind storm. There will be some wind, and especially closer to the center, Lake City to Waycross. But boy, the rainfall could be epic with Debby as it slows down and moves to the east-northeast. Looks like we have an update on the tornado warning, and it's possible that it's been expanded here just a little bit into Columbia County. So we're going to take a look. And it's been expanded, but not quite to Columbia County. It's been issued now for the rest of western parts of Bradford County, rather Union County. It has moved out of Bradford County, which was originally part of the tornado warning. You're okay. It's an all clear for the moment, at least for Bradford County. But south and west of Lake Butler, that tornado warning has been expanded now. This cell still looks pretty intense, and we're still getting some indications of possible rotations. So, and there it is. Go ahead, Corey. Okay, let's take it full here, and Corey and I will both join forces here and take a look at this storm with the circulation pretty evident now, Corey, just past Highway 121, southwest of Lake Butler, and speeding to the northwest at 40 miles per hour. So Highway 238 will be crossing here soon. That warning now in effect until 7:45. So they've not changed the timing. They've just extended the warning 7:45, and it is right now 7:37. So only another 8 minutes or so. But that circulation has tightened up again, Corey, quite a bit.
Yeah, Mike, we were watching it here and on First Alert Storm Analyst, and it looked to me like it, just within the last 5 or so minutes, so like those last couple of radar scans, that it has intensified. And we call this a couplet. Whenever the green and the red are right next to each other, there are two areas of color there, couplet. And this is the most significant couplet, Mike, I think we've had today.
Yeah.
If there's any bit of good news, this is clear of Worthington Springs. Doesn't mean there wasn't a tornado over Worthington Springs. If you are down in southern Union County, you have pictures and video, you're able to safely take them. We would love to see them. You can email us, weather@actionnewsjax.com, Twitter, or Facebook as well. So we don't have confirmation that there is a tornado. The National Weather Service has extended the tornado warning until 7:45. Southwest County Road 241. This is west of State Road 121. I need to zoom in just a little bit more to get this street on. Southwest County Road 239A. Okay, so the radar data we're looking at right now, it's 7:39. The radar data we're looking at right now is a little old. So these cells are moving pretty quickly at around 30 miles per hour. So by this point, the circulation, or if there is a tornado, this has probably crossed Southwest County Road 239A. So we don't have confirmation there is a tornado. You see the radar indicated words right there. If this was a confirmed tornado, that would say confirmed. We'd also see it in the top right-hand part of the screen there on top of the blue. We don't have that right now. This is tracking up toward Southwest County Road 241 and State Road 238, Northwest County Road 245. So there is 241A. That's where it kind of curves to the north and then meets up with State Road 238. That's where this circulation is headed, or possible tornado. And then by this point, we are talking Columbia County. So there's Mikesville, Highway 41. If you're in Mikesville, near Mikesville, you're not in this tornado warning. There are potentially tornadic storms nearby. So just keep it here. We'll step you through it minute by minute and hour by hour if necessary, hopefully not. But southern Union County, southwestern Union County, and then over into Columbia County, Union County is where we have the tornado warning in effect now. The tornado warning goes until 7:45. Those of you in the Jacksonville metro, things are relatively quiet. We've had a little bit of rain and thunderstorms pass through. We're kind of in one of those lulls now. There's I-95, St. Augustine, Nocatee, Ponte Vedra, Jacksonville's beaches, and Jacksonville. There are just bands of light rain. The latest band of light rain is lifting up into northern Duval. There's also some very light shower activity in central and northern St. Johns County. This is headed up toward Julington Creek and Fruit Cove. There is light rain moving into Middleburg now, and then the rain picks up and gets a lot more intense here where we have these potentially tornadic cells. Mike.
Yeah, and Corey, every once in a while we're getting a lightning strike with these storms too that are moving quickly to the northwest and that has this possible tornado. And I'll tell you, another 5 minutes, Corey, and that'll be even out of this red box. But if it looks like it is right now, that may be, as you mentioned, extended into Columbia County. And just also in fairly recently from the Storm Prediction Center, the tornado watch that's in effect until 8 p.m. is going to be extended in time. We're not surprised at all. Most of all of Northeast Florida, all of our viewing area is under a tornado watch in Florida. The Southeast Georgia County is technically not in it, but that watch will eventually be expanded northward to include Southeast Georgia, if not with the next issuance that extends it in time, then eventually later tonight and into tomorrow morning. As our atmosphere remains ripe for severe weather and tornadoes on these outer bands that are coming in from Debby, which won't be making landfall for at least another 10 hours, if not 12 hours and beyond. We are on the air right now because of a tornado warning for Union County. This has exited Bradford County. Originally did include a portion of Bradford County to the west of Stark. That's no longer the case. It is well west of Lake Butler. You're okay in Lake Butler. This is headed into Mason at 7:48, Murtis at 7:51, Columbia at 7:58, Bass at 8 o'clock straight up, and Athens Church neighborhood at 8:02. We try to get you some landmarks as well when we track storms like this. Highly rural area, and we are now looking at First Alert Storm Analyst, and on the left, that's the rainfall. There's the storm of concern now, or western parts of Union County, and there's the velocities, and that again is a pretty impressive couplet, appears to be. Corey, and are you going to switch it here to rotational velocity?
I just wanted to say, Mike.
Yeah.
Storm Analyst has that brightest pixel of red and orange, 66 miles per hour.
Okay. And that's not an exact necessarily speed, but it's an indication of strong winds at the very least, and possibly a tornado. Now this must be rotational velocities again, Corey.
Yes.
And so there's and this matches up with the tornado warning and the southeast corner right in here of the storm. It's speeding to the northwest, so this is how it's going to be overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow. Very heavy rain, blinding rain, gusty winds, and then in the corner of the cell is where we're seeing these circulations develop every once in a while, and it's what's triggered the tornado warning for now western portions of Union County. And I might point out that Corey was talking just a few minutes ago, and I did before that, about the storms that are moving up the coast from southeast Florida. There have been multiple warnings issued there as well. And I think for Duval County, this band moving into Daytona Beach right now is something we have to keep a very close eye on, as it will move northward and then turn more northwest with time. And we may see waterspouts and or tornadoes develop with that band as it moves in just a little bit later this evening. So heads up St. Johns County, Flagler County, Putnam County initially at first for the next hour. And then eventually it would be Clay, northern St. John's, Duval, Nassau, Baker County, and then also at times into southeastern Georgia, also with some of these that are offshore that'll try to move back to the west and to the northwest. In fact, there is a tornado warning under that banner right now.
Looks like Merritt Island.
Merritt Island,
near
so
Kennedy
south,
Space Center.
not too far from Cape Canaveral there, very close to Cape Canaveral, and a little bit south of Daytona Beach. So our concern in the immediate area right now is this tornado warning, which is for western parts of Union County, west of Lake Butler, just another 5 minutes or so in that tornado warning, and then it'll either be allowed to expire or it will be extended into Columbia County. It would appear as this moves west-northwest, it crosses Highway 41 and I-75 south of Lake City, that it would stay, the most intense part of this would stay south of Lake City. But heads up Lake City, it would appear, though, to the immediate south, that's where the very heavy rain, strong winds are already occurring. And then the possible tornado is just a little bit south and southeast from there over western parts of Union County, Corey.
Yeah, Mike, we an update. We lost the tornado warning polygons there just for 1 second, and now they just issued the new one. I was going to chime in and say the National Weather Service was working on a new tornado warning. Now that is in. It includes western Union County, only for a few minutes, and then central southeastern Columbia County. Lake City, you're not in the tornado warning. The far northern edge of the box is just south of downtown Lake City and Lake City proper. It does include 441 South, State Road 47, I-75 south of Lake City, basically I-75 at the intersection of State Road 47 and to the south. So brand new tornado warning.
Stays south of Lulu too, Corey.
Mike is, south of Lulu, good call.
Columbia, heads up Columbia, which is southwest of Lake City and just outside of Columbia County, I guess that would be.
We had that on the track just a minute ago.
Good. Yeah, that's right. We did. Okay.
This tornado warning is until 8 o'clock. Once again, radar indicated those two words right there. We do not have confirmation of a tornado. You need storm spotters, storm chasers, that kind of stuff to actually see or report that a tornado is happening. Radar gives you a pretty good idea. Radar can't tell you 100%. You could argue a few circumstances where it does. In this case,
Corey, take a look at First Alert Storm Analyst. I think we have a second circulation developing here on the cell that's ahead of it, actually. You see here the velocities just southeast of Columbia. Then there's the one that triggered the tornado warning, but a little suspicious here.
Okay, so southeast of Columbia, this is just a matter of miles. Something that Mike and I have talked about a lot as well. Whenever we talk about tornadoes, tornado warnings, couplets,
Cheers.
All these science words that we're throwing out there. You look for the red and the green to get close together. Great call, Mike. We got, maybe you saw live on TV, new radar data just popped on, and we have a few more of those gray pixels there. Whenever we look for a tornado, we're looking for the red coloring and the green coloring to be really bright and really close together. And in this case of the Worthington Springs circulation, we had that red and that green. When it comes to tropical systems, you don't always get the green. You don't always get the other color. But sometimes all it takes is a little bit of the gray right there. So we have the red. It's pretty bright moving into Columbia right now. This is gusty winds moving into Columbia and torrential rain. It's not going to rain a while, but it's extremely heavy. We talk about tropical downpours of rain, ultra high humidity. You can almost breathe it in setups like this. But we have this little circulation that has popped up to the south and west of, or south and east of Columbia. The tornado warning itself, that was issued for this circulation that's passing over the Union and Columbia County line that is tracking toward Highway 441 and eventually I-75. It looks like Mike has switched it back to those rotational velocities, which have gone down a little bit. Not too surprising to me because the velocity isn't as impressive, but it still looks pretty good. And now Mike has switched it to the debris tracker, which the beam is pretty high.
Right, I was just going to say, it is pretty high beam at that point, Corey.
But it's still a little suspicious, I would say.
Yeah.
It matches up right where the circulation is, which is right there. This kind of green-ish line right there, that's the county line between Union and Columbia County. Then we have Highway 441 right here, and then the red line is I-75, and then we have Columbia right here, which is south and southwest of Lake City. Lake City, if you live south of Lake City, you are in this tornado warning, and you need to take your tornado precautions. In fact, let's talk about what to do. We have people moving to Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia all the time. Maybe you have never experienced a tornado before, and you don't know what to do. So we are going to talk about that. The best thing you can do is get inside. A mobile home is not a good place to be during a tornado. If you live in a mobile home, if you are in a spot that it's not raining now, not under any sort of severe weather warning, come up with a plan to get somewhere else in a more sturdy shelter for if you need to take shelter over the next day or so. Know where your tornado safe place is, where you are, whether that is your house or someone else's. An interior closet or bathroom away from windows is the best place you can be. Under a stairwell, that's another really good spot. Water closet, toilet room. you want to put as many walls around you as you can, and you want to be as far away from the outer walls of the structure as you can be. And you need to be prepared to get in your place quickly. These tornado warnings in tropical setups, they can pop up very quickly with very little warning. You want to stay away from windows. I mentioned that. Protect your head and face. It may kind of sound weird, but a bike helmet, it's not a bad idea. Blankets and pillows, if you can manage it and the situation warrants, maybe even a mattress. It's not a bad idea. Don't stay in a mobile home. And of course, watch Action News Jax for live updates. If you have us on your phone or on a tablet, some sort of mobile device, easy. Just take us with you. If you are watching us on TV, turn the volume up and then head to your place of safety. Mike.
Yeah, good advice, Corey, and we'll continue to see in and out tornado warnings. It looks to us overnight tonight and through a good part of the day tomorrow. Perhaps by later in the afternoon tomorrow, our surface winds will come in more out of the west and southwest, and we'll have a little less shear in the atmosphere for these bands and cells to work with, and then it's the heavy rain that would be the greatest concern. But through at least the middle of the day tomorrow, there will be a distinct tornado threat. Now, this is kind of interesting. We mentioned we had 2 circulations here potentially within this tornado warning, crossing, or one east of I-75, one that's just to the west of I-75, and they've kind of merged. Those 2 cells have kind of merged. And the back one is still the most concerning one. It's the one that's got the access to the most unstable air because it's connected to that second band here. Again, staying south of Lake City. Corey is tracking that potential circulation now into Bethlehem Church neighborhood at 7:52, Murtis at about 7:54. There's Columbia again popping up just a couple of minutes after 8 o'clock, although the warning only goes till 8. Or is it 8:15, Corey? 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock. So we'll see if it gets extended or if they're going to allow this to expire. But that's still very near Bethlehem Church is a circulation that we're tracking west-northwest. It'll cross I-75 here in just the next couple of minutes. There still are twin circulations here. The back one does still appear to be the stronger one, which was the trigger for the original tornado warning anyway. So there's I-75, and as we talk about oftentimes, do not get into an automobile during a tornado warning. Any automobile becomes just a toy for a tornado to decimate, unfortunately. So it's crossed Highway 241 and continuing west-northwest. It'll cross I-75 in the next few minutes. There's Lake City at the top of the screen. So this stays comfortably, if you will, south of Lake City. You are not included in the tornado warning. It's for areas to the south of Lake City from I-75 and on Highway 41 now. It's going to cross Highway 41 too. We're on street level mapping now on First Alert Doppler HD. And then it'll continue west-northwest, and eventually the west edge of this tornado warning is Highway 47. Zooming in even a little bit more, a few more roads will come into play here. State Road 245, there's Highway 41 again, there's I-75, Tustanegee Avenue, and there's an update on the tornado warning now just coming in. That's why it's flashing. They're going to keep it in effect the way it would appear for at least another 7 minutes, more than likely, as this now has I-75 in sight, and then eventually County Road 240, Corey.
Yeah, Mike, I wanted to kind of push down a little bit farther, get some of the neighborhoods on the map here. Mike mentioned it just a minute ago. I-75, Highway 41. A car is not a good place to be in a tornado or a potentially tornadic storm. And so if you're about to go somewhere, maybe just hold off about 10 to 15 minutes. Don't want you to be late anywhere, but your safety is of utmost importance. So
might be trying to strengthen a little bit again there, Corey, maybe.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all, Mike. We have the peach color that is approaching Highway 41, maybe over Highway 41 by this point. Southwest County Road 349, I-75. I want to move the map here and get some more of the roads on here. There is Southwest Tustanegee Avenue. That is just west of I-75. At least in the tornado warning or the area of concern that we are looking at here, all the way out to State Road 47, Columbia, Southwest Watson Street. I think I mentioned Southwest County Road 349. If you're here in your street or one close by, you know somebody that lives on one of these roads, never hurts to give a friend or a family member a call or seek shelter yourself. So the tornado warning lasts until 8 o'clock. That is 5 minutes from now. Okay, this is from the Weather Service. we have received several public reports of a tornado on the ground northwest of Worthington Springs, as well as several indications via radar to support these reports.
It's interesting.
So Mike was on TV talking about that storm near Worthington Springs, and we don't know exactly where those reports were. Radar, what we have seen, certainly supports that, or it certainly looks like there could have been a tornado. Nothing confirmed yet. The National Weather Service has received reports of that. Mike, as the main circulation in question is about to cross I-75, but there is another one beyond that,
right, there's still
to
that,
the west.
Yeah, it's still that twin circulation, but the primary one is that one that triggered the tornado warning, and this is the circulation that the National Weather Service is referring to, that they're getting reports of tornadoes on now. So it's going to cross Highway 41 about right now, and then cross I-75. Corey is taking us back in time. Here's when it was just west-northwest, very near Worthington Springs, and that's when there appeared to be a pretty strong circulation, and now perhaps confirmation of a tornado. And then moving west-northwest, and now crossing Highway 41. It's just minutes away from crossing Interstate 75, and then it will continue to the west-northwest. There's Tuskegee Avenue again, and County Road 245. It's passed west of County Road 245, right on Highway 41 now. If you're watching from Lake City, you may have gotten an alert on your phone. This tornado warning is south of you. It is not. It does not include Lake City, but heads up the rest of southern Columbia County and to the southwest of Lake City. We also just have now the 8 p.m. advisory in from the National Hurricane Center, and Debbie's a little stronger. It's almost a hurricane, and the bands rotating around Debbie are going to continue through the night and into the day tomorrow. And each one of those bands not only producing high winds, but the potential for isolated tornadoes. And we mentioned earlier that the tornado watch would be extended, and indeed it has been. It's been extended northward all the way into southeast of Georgia, includes virtually our entire viewing area now. Still includes, of course, Duval County and Metro Jacksonville, but it also now includes Camden County, Charlton, Ware, and Clinch County in Georgia. So Waycross, Folkestone, Brunswick's technically not in it. They will be eventually. Your Brunswick area will be in it later tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Corey, the expiration we have on here is old. That's
looking for a time. I'm looking for a time.
So Corey's checking out the time. My guess is it could go till 8 in the morning. It's going to certainly go through most of the night and will likely even be extended yet again and pushed a little bit more to the north. But in addition to those southeastern Georgia areas under the tornado watch, Folkestone, Waycross, St. Mary's, Kingsland, St. George. We also, of course, have all of northeast Florida, including Metro Jacksonville, Nassau County, west on I-10 to Lake City, south to Gainesville, east and southeast to St. Augustine.
6 a.m.
All under a tornado watch, so 6 a.m. So it's in effect the rest of the night, and we'll be here all night. The First Alert Weather Team's not leaving you. We'll be staffing the Weather Center round the clock. A little later tonight, Trevor Gibbs, Garrett Beatonbaugh will be in. Corey and I will try to get maybe a quick nap in, and then we'll all be back in again tomorrow as we track the bands that are rotating around Debbie. Tornado warning remains in effect for southern and southwestern portions of Columbia County. We are actually sending a crew now to the Worthington Springs area where we have confirmed tornado, what appears to have been a confirmed tornado, to see if there's any damage. And here's the 8 o'clock advisory now in from the National Hurricane Center on Debbie. And there has been a burst of thunderstorms. We've been watching this for the last couple of hours. The strengthening now, winds at 70 miles per hour. At 74, it's a hurricane. That's expected to happen overnight tonight. And we, once you know it, are on the messy east side of the now tropical storm, likely soon to be hurricane. And that means for us, that potential for tornadoes, some strong winds, especially west of Jacksonville. Lake City to Waycross will have particularly strong winds because there'll be a turn to the northeast after it makes a landfall. And then as it slows down, very, very heavy rainfall and the potential for significant flooding. But the reason we're on the air at the moment is still for this tornado warning, which now looks like it's been extended again, probably till 8:15.
So it is a new tornado warning.
Okay.
It's overlapping with the current one, Mike. This just into from the National Weather Service. This is until 8:15. At 7:59, a severe storm capable of producing a tornado is located near Columbia. Columbia, we have been shouting you out for a while now, or 9 miles south of Lake City, moving northwest at 30 miles per hour. Okay, there is
So still does not include Lake City, Corey, right?
That's right, Mike. So Lake City is not included in the tornado warning. Spots really close to Lake City are technically in this tornado warning. just south of Highway 90, if you live south of US 90 near I-75, this is where the tornado warning is included. State Road 247. That's County Road 242. I can't tell if that's southwest or northwest. That is southwest. Southwest County Road 242. Let's get back into the potentially tornadic part of the storm. This is right next to Tustanuggy Avenue, just west of I-75. It looks like the circulation has crossed the interstate. And we continue to track the circulation as it is still moving near some of these roads. Let's take a look at the velocity. It looked like it had pulsed down just a little bit, and now it's still showing the signs that it was showing earlier. We don't have the green, but we have the red that's really bright. It's not red anymore. It's kind of pink, and then we have the gray and darker pixels right in here. So this is a circulation. If there's a tornado, it's going to be right here. As of a minute or two ago, it was located just east of Tustanuggy Avenue and west of I-75. Mike.
Yeah, and that circulation not as impressive overall. However, it's also getting further away from the radar, and the beam is a little higher, so that could be part of that. But the National Weather Service, and rightfully so, erring on the side of caution here, because tropical tornadoes that occur with tropical systems, like Debby, have a tendency to occur very quickly, move very quickly, and are difficult to make out because they're wrapped many times in very heavy rain. The circulation literally wraps those heavy downpours right around the circulation, and that is the circulation now. Heads up Columbia in just a minute or two here at 8:05. That circulation is very near you with a possible tornado. Mount Salem Church neighborhood, same time. Pine Rose Church neighborhood at 8:05, and Philadelphia Church neighborhood at about 8:15. Highly rural area, but there are some subdivisions here south and southwest of Lake City, and this looks like that circulation is just a little west now of Interstate 75. So it has crossed Interstate 75. Again, we do have reports of a possible tornado already with this cell. Actually, the National Weather Service calling it, receiving several reports of a tornado on the ground when the warning was originally issued, now some 35 minutes ago or so, 40 minutes ago. And Corey now stepping us through the timeline, the progression of the storm as it's moved to the west and to the northwest. Have you switched it to Moody? Is that okay? That's what I thought. Okay, so Corey has switched our radar sites. We have First Alert Doppler HD, capable of seeing radars from and using radars from Jacksonville at the International Airport, but also Moody Air Force Base has a Doppler radar, and so now Corey has switched to that radar, and now he's going back.
That was 7:40 p.m.
Okay, so which is probably about when the Worthington tornado occurred, give or take. So there's Lake Butler. It was to the west-southwest, just south of Highway 238. Stayed a little bit northeast of Mikesville. Corey progressing this on through as this moves to the west and to the northwest. And at times, it was a pretty strong circulation. Now, there you can see how it's moved into the tornado warning area. It's crossed I-75. It just doesn't look overall as impressive or as strong as it has been on and off during the past 30 minutes or so, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. The tornado warning is still in effect. We are going to stay on air, CBS 47 and Fox 30, Action News Jax, as long as there is something that we deem threatening and a potentially tornadic storm that may have a history of producing tornadoes. That's pretty important, especially for those of you in and around Columbia, in central Columbia County, south of Lake City, by between 5 and 10 miles. We're waiting a new word from the National Weather Service. Southwest County Road 242, State Road 247, State Road 47. That
cell's gotten a little messy, Corey.
Columbia.
How it's kind of merged together there, that cell.
Yeah, Mike is talking about how all the rain is just kind of coming together. So we have, this was an individual cell, if you will. This was, and this patch of rain, this is the county line between Columbia and, is that Suwannee?
Suwannee, yeah.
Columbia and Suwannee County. So Suwannee County is not in the viewing area of CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax. You may get us over cable, but Columbia County is our cutoff. That's also when we would go back to regular programming if the warning area moves out of our area. So So, Mike, talk more about the cells or the range is kind of coming together.
Right. What happens in the end is when these cells kind of merge like they are right now, they typically kind of lose their ability to tornado, if you will. And so Corey's taking it back over the last hour or so. And initially, it was an individual storm. It had access to the very warm, humid air, and it was producing, apparently did produce, at least one tornado already confirmed in southern and southwestern portions of Union County. But since then, it has become, and now we're back to right now, you can see how it's kind of come together. It's all become one instead of being individual, and it's less likely, it's not impossible, but it's less likely to have a tornado when that sort of evolution happens. Now, it's still very heavy rain. You may even get some damaging winds, but it would appear, also based on our velocities that we've been looking at with First Alert Top Alert HD, this does not appear to be as intense as it was, and I wouldn't be surprised if this warning is canceled early or at least allowed to expire at 8:15. There's hints of maybe a little circulation there yet between I-75 and Highway 47. Moving to the northwest, we'll be crossing Highway 47 and Highway 240. We're zoomed in pretty tight now. So there's I-75. It's safely to the west of I-75, but it'll be crossing Highway 240. There's an update, and look how quickly this is moving.
Wow.
So it's, wow is right, at least at 40 miles per hour. Crossing now soon, Highway 247, and again, not a particularly impressive signature on radar, but still, tornado warning technically is in effect right now for areas of Columbia County south of Lake City. Meanwhile, closer to home, we are getting some light rain at times, and we have had some incidents on highways and interstates. I want to take a quick look at the traffic cam if I can. I see it out of the corner of my eye. In the control room, if you can take I-10, we have emergency vehicles on site here, and travel is being impeded a little bit by this accident. There you can see the emergency vehicles there. Looks like JSO, and now the ambulance may be on its way out the way it looks. There's one of the cars pretty beat up right there, so be careful out there. It's going to be a slick couple of days ahead at least. There'll be the potential for serious flooding, and travel around the area is going to be possible and doable, but at times could be difficult and potentially dangerous depending on the depth of water. Remember, we advise people not to drive through flooded highways, streets, and roads, and we may be seeing some flooded areas, maybe significant flooding the next couple of days. But right now, Duval County, a little more than a little bit of light rain. That heavy band near Daytona Beach, which triggered a tornado warning a little earlier, is making its way up the coast. It will soon be into Flagler County. In fact, it's in Flagler County, soon be to St. Johns County, and there are no warnings currently in effect in the immediate area with this band of heavy rain. But that may change as this moves to the north and to the northwest. So the rainfall intensity will pick up dramatically in Duval County after, say, about 9 or 9:30 this evening. Southeast Georgia also getting a break, except for Waycross to Blackshear, some heavy rain. And then we have that tornado warning just to the south of Lake City. A storm that was individual and producing tornadoes has now merged with a lot of other rain and other cells, and that generally cuts off the potential for tornadoes in a general sense and many times, but technically this tornado warning remains in effect right now for central parts of southern Columbia County, but south and southwest of Lake City. Lake City, you are not included in the tornado warning, Corey.
The National Weather Service just chiming in. They're going to let this tornado warning expire at 8:15. That's 6 minutes from right now. It looks like the rotation has almost completely gone away. It can rise and fall just in a matter of minutes from one radar scan to the next. And like Mike was talking about, there's a lot more other rain now with this shower. I don't think there's any lightning with it, at least in Columbia County, so we can't even call it a storm. But all of this rain has kind of developed up and lifted up on the southern end of this, and that can sometimes choke off or cut off tornadic circulation. So the area of concern now is shifting into western Columbia County. I want to switch it back to velocities and see what we're looking at, Mike, to see if it looks like the rotation is gone.
Right. Yeah, I think, the warning expires in 5 minutes. I feel pretty comfortable that we we are not going to see an extension of the Weather Service already, as you said, chimed in and said they're not going to extend the tornado warning. So I think what we do here at this point is kind of give a summary, and then we'll go back to regular programming. The tornado warning south and southwest of Lake City about to expire. In the meantime, in the last few minutes, a new advisory has come out on Tropical Storm Debby, which is nearing hurricane strength. Winds at 74 miles per hour. At 75, it's a hurricane, and right there's the eye, a developing eye, and it's likely to become a hurricane before landfall tomorrow morning on the Big Bend of Florida. There you can see tornado warnings in effect near and just to the south of Tampa, and these bands will continue to rotate to the north and to the northwest across our area, and any of them will be capable of producing damaging winds as well as tornadoes. And that tornado watch now has been extended through 6 o'clock in the morning, so it'll be in effect all night long. Means conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, and that now includes much of southern and southeastern portions of Georgia as well. As Debby continues to intensify, it'll move to the north-northeast, a landfall in the Big Bend tomorrow morning. It slows as it moves to the north and east, so the tornado threat will continue through a good part of the day tomorrow, especially the first 2/3 or so. The winds will increase, but this is not a big windstorm for most of the area. Somewhat so for Waycross to Lake City here, but it's much more a concern for slowing down and the potential for extreme rainfall numbers in the end. When you add it all up between what's occurred this afternoon, what will occur tonight through tomorrow through Tuesday and Wednesday, there are indications of rainfall easily reaching a foot, and in some cases more than 2 feet, especially across southeast Georgia, and it may include some of our viewing areas. So if you live in a flood-prone area, you need to stay up to date and be checking the latest forecast. That includes all areas that are flood-prone in northeast Florida, Duval County and Jacksonville, and southeastern portions of Georgia. We are comparing this, oddly enough, to Tropical Storm Debby that occurred 12 years ago. Remember, the names repeat every 6 years? So 12 years ago, Debby moved into Florida from the west, came in from the Gulf of Mexico, moving west to east. It dropped huge amounts of rain, but there was flooding in some places that had never flooded before. And that's the kind of thing we could be looking at in the situation over the next few days. If you experienced flooding from Debby in 2012, there's unfortunately a good chance you're going to experience flooding over the next few days. And even if you've never had necessarily water, this is one of those storms where the rainfall amounts are going to be high and very unusual, potentially extreme. So we may see flooding in places that don't typically flood necessarily as well over the next few days. Water is by far our biggest concern, and it's mainly rainwater, not so much salt water, not so much storm surge, Corey. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. We're about 2 minutes now away from the tornado warning officially expiring. We'll be here through the night, as I mentioned, to update you on any and all tornado warnings. Our first beginning of our newscast at 10 p.m. will be on Fox 30, Action News Jackson. CBS 47 goes all the way until 11:30. We'll have updates on Debby, its impacts locally. We're going to time it out for you and give you all the latest updates. For Corey Sima, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Stay tuned to CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax. Log on to actionnewsjax.com. Download for free the First Alert Weather app, and on the radio, 104.5 WOKV.
This has been an Action News Jax First Alert Weather Update. Get weather 24/7, streaming on Action News Jax now. Available wherever you stream or on our